And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trade routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Recap. Tuesday, May 10th, I'm John Oakland. As always, thanks for trusting me with your time. Interesting trading day today. The markets, for a while there, really looked like they were a lot lower than they were. I thought it was kind of an interesting trading day. And of course, we're hoping you had a good trading day. We did have make whole money this morning. We had two losing trades, I think, and one winning trade. One of the losing trades, we got ticked out on a stop right at the dead high before the market started to head lower. I thought it was a really good session. I thought there was some really good conversation, some really good ideas. Unfortunately, we did not capitalize on this move to the downside. I remember we were kind of discussing the idea that it seemed as though buyers were trying to take control, but they weren't doing a very good job of it. And that information alone should have been enough to get us short and keep us short a little bit. So the small loss again today, but that's okay. We're trying to find our tempo, our ability to make faster decisions. It's all part of the process, and any feedback or ideas on how we can do better at that, we'd certainly appreciate. As far as news is concerned, we had the Bitcoin dip briefly below 30,000 today. We did recover back up above that 31,000 level. As far as news is concerned today, most of what I'm reading, most of what I'm seeing is based on the Fed speak that we had today. We did have 5 Fed speakers throughout the day, and one even later on today. Some of the quotes that I'm seeing from the news here, Waller was saying that now is the time to hike rates because the economy can take it. Well, we'll see about that. Meester says the Fed is not ruling out 75 basis point moves. Barkin says a Volcker-like recession is unnecessary to bring inflation down. So some kind of good thoughts, I think, from some of the Fed talking Feds that we did hear from today. Unfortunately, gas prices have hit a new record high here in the U.S., as I think our president just offers us a bunch of lip service today. So we are still deep in the throes of inflation, and hopefully the Fed's going to be able to do something about it. Just thinking about what happened in the markets today, having trouble speaking today. While crude oil closed about 3% lower on the same day that we put up a new high for gasoline costs, the E-mini S&P and the Nasdaq both had price action today that the market was closing lower or a lot lower than it was. The opposite was really true. The markets did recover a lot of the losses that they incurred early in the session. The Nasdaq actually closed higher. The S&P, the Dow, and the Russells closed. I think the S&P closed a little bit higher. Dow and the Russell closed a little bit lower. So some mixed results. As far as U.S. equities are concerned, gold closes below the weekly kickoff low on higher volume. You see that dollar continuing to push higher. Euro, inside day after inside day, balance. We've been in balance in that euro for around 2 weeks now. The 10-year, the lack of a gap fill fails to bring upside continuation. So we did open with a gap higher this morning. We ended up with a pretty small range in the 10-year. We're going to see that in the charts shortly. The natural gas finds buyers. It's been kind of leaking lower and kind of cleaning up unfinished business. We've taken out about 4 naked points of control in the last couple of sessions. So we found some buyers in nat gas. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm going to say hello. Tachyon, good morning. Laney, Bill, Spencer. I hope everybody had a good day too. I took the day off from trading after a very bad, no good day yesterday. Still wanted to make it to the recap. Well, I appreciate that, Spencer. Thanks for all you contribute as well. Chilling with Dylan. Afternoon, y'all. Had another good day. Stayed patient. Hope everybody had a good one, too. Laney finally figured out the magic of TPO with the dome. Laney, don't forget, tomorrow we're going to talk about market profile and the TPO charts and in group coaching, which is tomorrow. I'm going to put the link in just in case you need to register for group coaching. It goes out to everybody. If you've ever wondered about TPO charts, market profile charts, we're going to take a look at them tomorrow in group coaching. Hopefully there'll be some useful information. Vince, good afternoon. Brody. Joe, what trade did you take on Make Hogue Money? Well, we were trying to get short. We had a really good opportunity. Again, we got stopped out and kind of ran out of time, I think, before we really found our opportunity to get back on the short side of that. We had a small losing day, which is fine, even though we do have a rule in Make Hogue Money, no losing trades. Really kind of a joke. Afternoon, Scott saw, and hopefully you conquered. Dan Emmons, decent day, something for everyone. Stayed long-sided, bought the dips, and sold the rips. I remain long-sided because I hate getting ripped to shreds, stuck short. Absolutely. At level 2, it's good to see you again. Floyd's Garage. Good coach's corner today. Good coach's playbook. Good. I'm glad that you found that useful. Kyle didn't trade, just relaxed and watched. There's a lot to learn from doing that. Dan, Nasdaq and ES closing near VWAP again. Patience and small profitable day for Joe H. Tony Thomas. Good day to you. H. Tony Thomas. Anthony Thomas. I used to work with a guy in the trading floor named Anthony Thomas, but it was V. Anthony Thomas. But nice to see you, H. Tony Thomas. ZK made $3,000 on paper, but almost blew my combine. I hate that when that happens. CPI tomorrow, as John Mayer says, waiting on the world to change. Maybe that's a good song to start the day tomorrow with. Well, level 2 took 2 structure test trades and settlement trade. Planned for the trade, traded the plan. That's all we can ask, right? NQ down 27% from the highs. ES would be somewhere around 35.10 to match NQ weakness. That's crazy. Well, if you remember, at the end of last year, we made some kind of thoughts about what we thought the markets were going to do this year. And I think my comment was S&Ps are going to 5,000 by way of 3,500. So that 3,500 sounds pretty good there. This was an ugly profile, price discovery in a range. Vince, Nat Gas has a gas leak. Maybe. Level 2, how would you consider that test of the weekly structure at 40.65? That second test and rejection. We'll take a look at that on the chart shortly here, level 2. Romaine, good afternoon. Nice Hogue play on the ES. Good. I'm glad you made some money. Glitter Sandwich. 3 lines inside. Good afternoon to everybody. Why don't we jump in the charts and take a look. Right. So let me start with crude oil here. Just go from top left. We'll do the circle. So But a good reversal the day before yesterday on some pretty decent volume and a loss of 3,400 in open interest. Some long liquidation bringing us to the session today, which we found some solace and comfort below weekly kickoff low, which is 103. If we remember, the settlement price yesterday was 103.09. So we've seen some continuation on some pretty decent volume. Looking forward to seeing if we get some opportunities down along this lower trend line in the coming sessions here. So here's where we opened. Opening range was not necessarily the dead high, but pretty darn close. We were opening in range and in value, so we try to stay patient in that regard. But as soon as we really found some legs below weekly kickoff low and closed this bar below below the range for yesterday, kind of felt like the game was on, but maybe we were a little late to the party. It was probably pretty tough to try and get into this move to the downside, but we're going to be looking for two things tomorrow. Perhaps another opportunity at weekly kickoff low, or if we get down near this trend line, I'll be looking for opportunities down at that level. Anything in between, not so much. So here's the S&P daily. Let's make it so everybody can see. So we had a nice addition to open interest and some pretty good volume on this push to the downside. We were looking at higher pricing. We did not open in or below the late spike to the downside, which usually would mark a rejection of lower pricing. This will look a little bit easier to see on the 30-minute chart, but just looking at the volume in futures, it wasn't all that great. Pretty decent volume out in the New York Stock Exchange. However, here's the 30. So here's our late spike right here. There's the base of it. Turns out to be point of control for us today. So the market opens above it, goes down, takes out the low of the late spike. At this point, I'm thinking we may be in some trouble, but we saw the momentum to the downside begin to fall off as soon as price started maintaining above the 9-session Hull moving average. I was talking to my brother at the time. He says, "Where's the support in the Nasdaq?" And I said, "Well, I don't know if we have support, but it seems like the downside momentum is starting to fall off in the day time frame." And boy, did it. This was settlement here in the S&Ps, which again was 3987.5. Right back up to it, right back through it, right back to it. Did close the day a little bit higher than yesterday. And we did that in the Nasdaq as well. Really just kind of finding some opportunity, perhaps up near weekly kickoff high. This was when we were in the Make Hold Money meeting and just all watching and seeing what the market was doing up here. I think there was a pretty good agreement among the team members that the upside wasn't doing all that well. So we tried to find ways to get short. We actually ended up short. We got ticked out to the tick up here at 40.55. I thought about trying to jump right back into it, but we were talking, and by the time we got to that opportunity to discuss it, the opportunity was, well, we were late to the party, let's call it. So we just took what we could get and called it a session. Looking forward to Thursday. As always, I enjoy those opportunities to hang out and talk trading with traders. Here's the Nasdaq. Okay, decent volume. Another increase in open interest, 10,000. That's pretty good for the Nasdaq and for an increase in open interest in that regard. So good volume, good open interest. We're looking for more continuation. We had the same situation. We had a late spike. We opened above. Couldn't take out yesterday's low. Found that to be somewhat interesting, but basically value just remains the same. We've got a little expansion of value today over yesterday, but in all respects, the market really just kind of hanging here looking for new information And we're going to get it tomorrow in the CPI. That's going to be an interesting session tomorrow. Gold, continuation. We had some good open interest yesterday on this push to the weekly kickoff low, finding acceptance through time below the weekly kickoff low. We've got, our next swing low is all the way down here to 1783, which is about a $50 move. It can be interesting to see if that does actually play out. We have the market opening in range, in value, leaving value, taking out the settlement price, the overnight low, finding some comfort below weekly kickoff low. This bar here was a decent opportunity for us to look for this short. I mean, we've moved below it, right up back to it, and then the continuation of the downside, and seeing this market continuing the move to the downside just kind of increases my thoughts of the possibility of more continuation to the downside. One thing I've always wished was that we were able to see the open interest at the end of the session, or even during the session. I know that that's not possible, but sure would be nice. It would help us prepare for tomorrow, perhaps even better. Anyways, here's the euro. Inside day yesterday, inside day today. We're really just stuck in balance here. I'm looking forward to when this balance is accepted outside of. I think that's going to be a pretty big directional opportunity. This is incorrect. There's our low. Pretty much the weekly kickoff low. We sure are dragging along that weekly kickoff. Look at that. Open in range and value. Better trade location did come as the day was going on in the second 30 minutes. Probably the best trade location up here, right up against that gap that we tried to fill last week. How about the 10-year? So still holding downside structure. Decent upside day on some decent volume. We added 27,000 off the low yesterday, so we may be getting some traders willing to bet the long side in this. And here's our gap we talked about in the open here. We opened with a gap, unable to close the gap, but it didn't really bring much as far as directional activity to the upside. As a matter of fact, it just kind of weaned back towards a gap close throughout the session. This doesn't impress me as far as upside information is concerned. I think we're seeing a slowing of a brief upside auction that may end up looking more like a bear flag than anything else. We'll see that tomorrow morning. And the nat gas, as Vince says, looks like somebody leaked a whole bunch of the nat gas, so get a little bit of buyers here. We were too long up here. Did we end up too short down here in the hole is what it really looks like. Look at all these naked points of control. 1, 2, 3, almost 4 naked points of control rechecked in the last 2 sessions. Just missed this one by time. I'm going to call this one checked. It happened right before the opening. And a big delta divergence yesterday. Today, congruent with direction. Short covering. Did we get too short? We certainly do have a short covering profile here. The P shape of this profile indicates short covering. It doesn't bring me a whole lot of upside confidence. And here we go. Okay. Let's see what other questions we've got here. Anyone know how to add Tiki options to their trade evade indicators? Trying to get John's Tiki. Yeah, you have to go, I believe, not the legacy charts. You have to go to the other charts. and then you go to indicators. At the bottom, it says Explore Community Indicators. Once you get to that, you can scroll down to the Tiki cumulative delta tool, and you can zero the cumulative delta to a certain period of time each day. So I zero it to the open so that I can see regular trading hours delta. If you have more questions about that, Dylan, come to group coaching and I can go through how I get that set up and how you get it to look so vivid. 2 days in a row rally at Europe close. Maybe the Euro and Bund's playing a role lately. Dan, you've got such a wide view of these markets. It's kind of amazing. Spencer offering some ideas on how to get that community indicator. Thank you very much. Yep, indicators, explore community indicators, search for what you're looking for, click install, and then you still have to put that on your charts. Very nice. Very nice. All right, well, today's a big day in history. I don't know if anybody knows. On May 10th, 1869, the ceremonial last spike into the rail line that connected the railroads, the Transcontinental Railroad, was completed on this date in 1869. Now, 1832 was when they decided they were going to try and make this intercontinental railroad a reality, but it wasn't until 1853 that Congress finally appropriated the funds to survey several routes for the Transcontinental Railroad. 1 year into the Civil War, that kind of put a kibosh on everything. If you know, the Chicago Board of Trade was founded in 1848. And in 1848, that was when the railroad came to Chicago as well. Now, it was 1848, and the Transcontinental Railroad was completed in 1869. 21 years after the railroad came to Chicago. That was a huge, huge, big project that ended today. In 1994, Nelson Mandela, South Africa's first black president, is inaugurated on this day. 1940, Winston Churchill becomes Prime Minister of Britain. 1775, the Second Continental Congress assembles as Americans capture Fort Ticonderoga. This day in music, the Silver Beatles, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Stuart Sutcliffe and Tommy Moore auditioned for a promoter. They were back when they were called the Silver Beatles. There's a Donovan, a Scottish singer and songwriter. Sunshine, Superman, Mellow Yellow, if you remember those. Today's his birthday. He was born in 1946. 1947, Dave Mason was born, who was part of Traffic and also had some pretty big hits on his own with We Just Disagree. And he played with a lot of famous people: Eric Clapton, George Harrison, Jimi Hendrix, Fleetwood Mac. 1969, Led Zeppelin made their first appearance on the UK album chart when the band's debut album charted at number 6, going on to spend 71 weeks in the UK chart. It entered the US chart the following week at number 10, recorded in 36 hours. The album is now considered one of the most important debuts in rock, creating an entirely new interpretation of the rock and roll genre and groundbreaking musical styles and recording techniques. 36 hours. it took them to record that album. Just amazing. 1969, the Moody Blues started a 2-week run at number 1 on the UK album chart with On the Threshold of a Dream, their first number 1 album. If you've never listened to the Moody Blues, I suggest giving them a listen. One of my faves. That's going to be about it. Let's see any other real notable. 1960, today's Bono's birthday. 1960. That makes him older than me. Another aging rock star. All right. So, well, that's it for Tuesday. I'm going to get some rest. I know tomorrow we've got CPI. It's going to be an interesting and yet another challenging trading day. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody back here for the market forecast tomorrow, 7:45. And don't forget, we've got group coaching tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central. Looking forward to it. Trade well, everyone. Get some rest. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Say a prayer for world peace. And I'll see you in the morning.